Hi.
Say hi to Taiwan and tell us about yourself, please.
Hello, Taiwan. Okay, so yes, my name is Yantisa Akhadi. You can call me Ian. That's easier to pronounce rather than, well, yeah. If I talk with a foreigner and for them it's a bit hard to, how should they call me? I just call me Ian. That's three letter. That's easy. That's usually also my friend call me here in Indonesia. So I'm currently the project manager of the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team in Indonesia. So our main focus is how to use OpenStreetMap data in the humanitarian as well as in the economic development. So in Indonesia, we've been involved with the National Disaster Management Agency on how to use OSM into disaster management in the various phases, start from emergency response, rehabilitation, reconstruction, as well as the preparedness and prevention.
Yes, thank you.
So, so what made the Jakarta government people start mapping out OSM?
It started in 2012, so it's a really interesting, and I think this is also the story that I will talk at the Gulf Summit, how Jakarta government initially have difficulties in having the spatial data because Jakarta is very dense, it's very urban, and it's hard to get a very good map. Like even like the other platforms such as Google Map or Bing Map does not have like detailed data village level. There are around 267 villages in Jakarta, and that's like the not the smallest administrative boundary. There are two levels beneath village. So there are sub-village and there are sub. In 2012, we've managed to map all the sub-village in these 267 villages. So in total, it is about several thousand sub-village boundaries have been mapped. So people know if I live in this sub-village, where are you in the map? So they're really able to get that information is something impossible because Google, even if it's available, it's only up until down to village level, not below that. Yeah.
So, so in that case, like, does it take a lot of effort to convince them to actually use OSM, or they sometimes think they should build their own map, right? How do you convince them OSM is the right way to go?
Well, I think the first thing that really convinced them because it did not cost them lots of money. In a city like Jakarta, it will cost you really a lot to have it mapped, like the sub-village, all the sub-village boundaries. In OSM, it's free. The platform they did not need to provide server. They did not need like provide deploy like team of surveyor over Jakarta that can last to like 1 or 2 years to have it all mapped. But in OSM, you can have it mapped in less than 3 months. How it's possible? Because we invite all of the village representatives to come to City Hall, and then they are assisted by one geography student from the University of Indonesia. So this student is actually the one who do the mapping, and like the representative is who the one like told them, okay, so you need to map where village boundary. Also, this is the sub village boundary. Also, there's a stadium. There's stadium here. There are village office here, and then there's a hospital. There's a clinic. So they're the one who tell the information, and then the geography student is the one who do the mapping. So all the process can be finished in less than 3 months. Later in the conference, I'll play the video on how it goes, and not a long video. It won't be boring, I promise. It will be less than 5-minute video, tell you about the process and how the Jakarta sub-village able to be mapped, and like all the important information that will be really useful during floods can be accessible by all.
So one of the greatest use of OSN is obviously the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team that you're involved with, which is usually like activated after disaster. So do you think the mapping help from like the random people around the world actually helps in the relief or rescue after a disaster happened, in your experience?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so, because now OpenStreetMap is not only used in humanitarian setting, it's even also used for like Foursquare now use OSM, like tourists using TripAdvisor now. TripAdvisor also somehow using OpenStreetMap data, because you can use the offline map. So it helps people who come to the Jakarta, but they are not familiar with Jakarta, so they need to access a map. Google Map might able to help you that, but in OSM, the information is richer, because one, you can access it offline. You don't need to buy data like data subscribe when you're in Indonesia. You can access the data, and during disaster you can even like browse through the map without the needs of internet connection. It's offline map. You can like in the rehabilitation reconstruction phase, even other than tourists, the government now also use the OSM data, and now they develop a tool called g0v. So g0v is the tool that can be used if floods happens in Jakarta. They can easily estimate like the impact of the floods and what is the cost, like the damage and loss of that floods, and what is the cost, for example, if we get the hospital inundated for 3 days, for example, what is the cost for that one? So they made an estimation, the impact of the cost, the impact of the floods, and they can give you like the cost of that impact.
So, but this is what you're saying about estimating the flood would cost is sort of before what happens. Like what my question was actually after there's a disaster, like a earthquake. Usually there are people around the world trying to help the HOT platform, and do you think the data they provide actually helps those that are doing the rescue and relief work?
Yeah, we believe so, because if you're going to one of the main tasks during disaster, or like the emergency response, for example, you need to understand where is the gap and where is the overlap. Because usually when people try to help one location, there are too many people active in that area. So there's overlap. There are too many actors from different organizations, from different government organizations coming to the area. But we see that there's also a gap where there's an area where no one comes to that area, although that area might be inundated for like 5 meters. But because no media there, no one told them what happens, then no people come to that area. So to do this, we need to have a good map that's able to display where are the overlap, where there are too many actors, and where are the gaps, when there are no one respond to that area. Probably because it's hard to get there, or probably because no one knows that it is actually inundated. Because the one who do the report is people living in the area, so they're the one who understand that, okay, this is what happened in my village, but no one come here. So that can be informed through the map, so that people knows, oh, so that area is still red, meaning that it's quite high, the flood level, and we need more people coming to the area and giving them assistance in terms of logistics, in terms of like boat to able to reach the area, so that people can be evacuated from that area.
Excellent. So, like, besides mapping and HOT, do you think like the global civic tech community who are making technology for social good or democracy, do you think they are actually bringing impacts that you can see?
Yes, definitely. Now we are more coordinated compared to like a couple of years ago. And now what I see the difference from a couple of years ago is that now we see that corporates start to joining in. So the global civic tech seeing that, okay, so there are already actors, there are already government there. There are already like open data people. They are open hackers, the one that makes an application. So the corporate seeing this, I think this is time that we should jump in. Like especially like in Indonesia now, it is mandatory for a corporate, like big corporate, to have the corporate social responsibility program where they can also jump in and make an effort on how to help in the condition, because other than the big corporate is also a victim, like their property is also damaged by the floods, for example, but they also have capacity, like one of the big state oil companies actually have a group like a dozen of boats that might be useful during floods, so that they may able to help, especially like now in the disaster management. Disaster is everybody business, not necessarily that your government that have like the only resources, but civil society, we as say data hacker, for example, may also help in this effort. And so the corporate would like to jump in and see that since the global civic now not kind of a grouping, now there are conferences now like such as the Gulf Summit, where people share their experiences and how it can be replicated among countries. So we saw that corporates start seeing that and trying to be involved in it, and not necessarily as a competition, but as a collaborative effort dealing with disaster.
Great. So can you tell me what do you do before and how do you get into the civil tech field? How you start?
Yeah. So previously, yeah. So this is a quite interesting story, because when I was graduated from my bachelor degree, it was the right moment when there are big earthquake happen in my university. So it's 6.3 Richter scale earthquake, and 5,000 people died during that event, and more than 100,000 building is destroyed. That's happening when it is my graduation ceremony in university. So probably that's kind of my call that, okay, probably I try to help with everything that I have. My background is in informatics engineering, so I think probably I can help in data management, in information management. That's why shortly after I graduated, I was recruited by International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Society. So I help the management of shelter distribution during earthquake. So like where the shelter are distributed, by which organization, where are the overlap, and which organization, if there's new organization to the disaster place, and then they can see that, okay, I have 100 shelter, when can I give it? So we give them the map, we give them the data that you can come to this area, there are still people need shelter. So moving forward, I was joined with the United Nations Development Program. Again, they are the one who are responsible for the recovery and rehabilitation of after the earthquake. Like we help people with more livelihood, how they can rebuild their business, rebuild their small and medium enterprises. So fast forward now, I'm joining the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, still in the disaster management. So yeah, I think that's how I really get into civil tech, but more on how. So like one of the big gap in the humanitarian world is that there is not much innovation comparing to the industry, comparing to the other sector where you see innovation going on. Even if you're not innovate, then you will die. I mean, you will be perish. Your industry would not survive. But in the humanitarian, because well, people just see, okay, this is humanitarian cause, I will pour money into it, I will invest into it. But it is rarely that people will invest in terms of like technology. Like it's not really something that's high tech. So I think there's lots of area that can be improved in this humanitarian world. How like latest technology might able to help to this during disaster event, on how high tech can really help, because people might didn't see how they can help, especially during disaster. You get electricity down, and then it's hard to get internet connection. But I think there are various other possible technologies that can be employed, such as peer-to-peer networking, such as chip satellite connection possibly. So yeah, I think there are sector that we can improve in that sense.
That's great. So maybe the last one. Did you see our agenda yet? So what session in the summit would you sound most interesting to you? And what kind of people you like to meet in Taiwan?
I think all of them is interesting. That's why I'm keen to join from the first day, and I try to watch as many sessions as possible, because I saw that, yeah, humanitarian will need to take lessons from other sectors. How I see that there are lots of innovation that being done in the region on how to replicate that. And I see that Taiwan is also a good place to do that, because compare if we join civic tech, like civic tech gathering, for example, in the US or in the Europe, for example, but they have different culture. But in Asia, we have similar culture and how. So I think the replication of that success story is much more possible compared if we use something from the US, but from different culture, and or something from the Europe, but again from the very different culture. But in Asia, we are in more a similar culture of, well, some people might say this is Eastern culture, then it's having more probability to being replicated and also implemented. So I'm really keen on seeing innovation at other sector, and possibly on how we can bring that in the humanitarian world.
Thank you. Taiwan, as you know, Taiwan is a more disastrous place. We have earthquake,
Yeah.
typhoon, and other things. So we are very looking forward to have you here. Yeah, maybe a few weeks later.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward for the event.
Okay, thank you. So let me get off the line.
Thank you. See you soon.